So this is an illustration I'm working on of my inner landscape. This is my inner child, Salix, and his best friend, shadow friend, Sabila. See, Salix means willow. It's like the Latin name for a willow tree. And Salix was actually named after the pussy willow because it's the most beautiful willow tree. But of course he got made fun of for this at school. People clowned him, called him a pussy all the time. And to be honest, Salix just didn't always enjoy the environment at school. So he was always happy when he could break away, get out into the forest, hang out with the forest animals. And he happened to have met a new friend recently. Her name's Sabila. She's this shadow girl. And Sabila means aloe, like aloe vera, the very healing plant. She came at a really good time for Salix in his life because he didn't have a lot of close friends. He'd actually been hurt by a lot of girls before who maybe just liked him but didn't treat him well at all. And he'd sort of become secluded into himself, becoming a very shy boy. But this girl, she just took an interest in him. She liked skateboards, she liked art, and Salix was an artist. So she was always impressed by his personality because he was just kind of a free spirit and a very kind and compassionate person. She also liked the forest and the forest animals. So together they planned a little trip to break away from school and their families and take a trip off into the forest. Because one of the things that brought Salix and Sabila together is that they came from very strict households. Their parents were pretty concerned about all the different troubles and things going on in the world, so they tended to overprotect them, which made it so that when they got an opportunity to have a sense of freedom, they just truly enjoyed it. And you know, Salix and Sabila, they were innocent kids, but they did both like to smoke bowls. So part of the trip out into the forest was to smoke a bowl together and have a fun conversation. So Salix had saved up some money selling some dime bags at school, and he bought himself a nice little glass piece from a local glass artist. He was really proud of it, and Sabila thought it was awesome. So, you know, they were both kind of vibing out, having fun, being authentic together, and having a true sense of freedom in the openness of the forest, with all the kindness of the forest animals surrounding them. They happened to come through at a time where there were a bunch of mission blue butterflies flying all around, and they were like landing on their hands, and it just seemed to be this really synchronistic moment for the two of them to enjoy their company together. See, at Sabila's house, she was always told that she needed to hide her aloe vera ears because they had magical powers and the other girls would be jealous. There was always a reason why Sabila couldn't truly be herself in public, which made her feel like she couldn't truly ever express herself. And Salix told her he felt the same way because his pussy willow flowers he had to hide from the whole world. His family told him he couldn't show them to anyone. And to be honest, he still didn't feel totally comfortable sharing his flowers with her. But he knew that one day he'd build up enough trust in their friendship that they could be sharing everything, because they just had that kind of bond. So they made their way out into the forest. They smoked their little bowl together, and they started to dream. They started to dream of a different world where there weren't so many troubles, that people were so caught up in their worries about a couple kids having a little bit of innocent fun. They understood why their parents were so strict, and they usually got away with everything without anybody being the wise. So no harm, no foul, right? That's the beauty of being in such a safe and isolated environment, like in my inner landscape. Because you see, my inner child, he's just a young teenage boy, and he's becoming interested in girls. And that's appropriate for him at this time in his life. He's a good kid, and he met a sweet girl. I'm really proud of him for the type of teenage boy that he is, because he's not bound by society's rules. And he gets through the day, you know. People might call him a pussy, but he's strong in himself. And whatever that word means, you know, he feels comfortable with the flowering tree that he was named after. And if people are trying to make fun of him for being in touch with his feminine spirit, then basically they can fuck right off. That's what Salix thinks about that. You know, he doesn't hold any bars. He's a good kid. He speaks his mind. But most of the time, he just stays to himself, because the rest of the world, it's not like it is when he's in the forest with Sabila, when everything's magic. But you know, the good thing is he's got his imagination and he's got his shadow friend. And together, with a new vision of what a real friendship and bond can look like, they could create a whole new world together, which is the plan. They continue to dream, they continue to grow together, and we flourish this inner landscape that has both a sense of longing from Salix to find his place in the world, to a sense of belonging with his friend Sabila. And she feels the same way, because she also has a longing for a true friend. And she also feels like she belongs in the forest, smoking bowls with Salix. Appreciating nature, appreciating family, appreciating the community. Because when we get away from things, sometimes it's a little bit easier to digest the beauty in the world around us. It's okay to run away sometimes. And it's okay to break the rules, as long as you're operating from a foundation of love and compassion, appreciation for life, the freedom to use your imagination. That's what this whole story is about. So I hope you appreciated the work that I'm doing here. This is like a therapeutic work for me, because to be honest, I didn't really get to fully appreciate my teenage years. I was going through a lot of pain. I was having pain with girls and the way I was being treated. Wasn't really treated that cool by a lot of the guys at school either. So, you know, I just ran around a lot. Tried to avoid people, but at the same time, you know, I made a lot of friends along the way. And I learned how to engage with people. But still to this day, I find when I create an image like this is where I truly belong. In my imagination, imagining this perfect vision of a great friendship. Peace.